My name is Lucia Berdisová. I work at Institute of State and Law at the Slovak Academy of Sciences, and I also teach constitutional law, legal philosophy at Trnava University in Trnava at Faculty of Law. I'm a member of the Evangelical Church in Slovakia. I actively participate at the life of the community here in Bratislava, Old City. As I mentioned, my field of expertise is constitutional law, hence I often follow debates, discussions in Slovak parliament. I can see that there are, in the last 4 years, for example, there were 12 bills regulating the termination of pregnancy of women, and I can see that there were many religious arguments brought in these discussions. Basically, some members of parliament only discussed this topic in the framework of religion. For example, to have a child is the will of the God that we need to respect. Or even though your child might not be healthy, fetus might be genetically somehow ill, you should still let this child to be born because it is the will of God, and you shall trust God that maybe the child in the end would be healthy. Political abuse of religion, I suppose, is the quite widespread, I would say, but basically in religions that are hierarchically structured and religions that believe they should spread their belief into society as it is. So let's say I would name them total religions. Or perhaps we can distinguish something as the notions, the concepts of faith, religion, and church. And even though religion by itself might not have these aspirations to, let's say, run the life of society, sometimes the church or representatives of the church might have this aspiration. For example, as to Christianity, we can see that even though in Bible it is written that, Jesus Christ said that give Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give the God what belongs to God. This distinction between what belongs to state, what should be regulated by state, and what should be regulated by church or religion. There are two distinguished or separate parts. We can see that Christianity in Central and Eastern Europe often has aspiration to put itself into the life of society. I would say that probably almost every religion could be exploited in some way, because each religion is based on the will of God. And if you put yourself as a, let's say, representative of the church into position that your task is to, or you have authority to interpret the will of God, then you are then you put and you have aspiration to put this will of God into practice. Which means everywhere, regarding everybody, even non-believers, then this exploitation might happen. So I would say that there is a potential almost in every religion, but to have some tension with, let's say, democratic values that are based on will of people, so collective decisions by people. But probably some religions, as I mentioned, that are hierarchically run, that have aspiration to spread themselves into the life of society, are less resilient regarding this. Probably the main causes of this exploitation of religion are the lack of, or is the lack of recognition that society is very complex, that there are spheres of society, spheres of life in society, and society is these different spheres of life, they have different rules of discussion, so that there are different narratives, different argumentation is valid. If we want to live in society that is colorful, the society actually nowadays in democratic liberal states, this distinction in society is crucial, and you have to allow these kinds of discourses, many discourses, and not only tolerate them but respect them. The people who believe that the argumentation of religion, specific religion, or the religious point of view should be the only one, because that's what makes a religion states what is true and what is not true. This is the only valid discourse. These religions and these churches are have more tendency to be misused in politics. And as to the question of who does this, I would say that probably in the structure of churches, the churches that are hierarchically structured, the structure and those in the positions of power, when they have these tendencies, they have the power to push towards the other discourses. As to resistance of religions or tools we can use to strengthen resilience of religions towards or against this misuse, I would say that theoretically Christianity should be quite much resilient because, as I mentioned, Christ said that there is a distinction in society between discourse, as what I mentioned, give Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give God to what belongs to God. And it's up to us to think about what are the state matters, political matters, and what are spiritual matters, our spiritual life, let's say. So this distinction was brought by Christ. The question is how it is perceived in a church, and in a Christian church. Of course, some Christian churches are more hierarchically structured, some are less hierarchically structured. For example, the church, Slovak Evangelic Church of Augsburg Faith, it is more democratically structured. So to strengthen resilience is up to, let's say, members of the church and the way they elect their representatives, and the way they push against this trend. As to other churches, it is usually the question of the way how this church, how specific church is structured. Of course, that religion, spirituality can play positive or even very positive role in society. I would mention two examples. The first one is let's say, Reformation. Martin Luther, in fact, his ideas brought or are the core, the roots of the concept, the modern concept of human rights. So Reformation, in fact, brought the new modern human rights into life of society and then into constitutional documents. So this discussion or free discussion of what it means to be free, what it means to be equal, questioning the hierarchy, the structure, the way the society functions, that's something that is embedded in fact in let's say Reformation. Secondly, religious or spirituality, religious ethos thinks about or is based on some version of transcendence, so seeing one person as a part of something that is bigger, something that is bigger than us, that transcends us, and using this in the political life in a positive way might result in thinking not only about what to do or in 4 or 5 years during your term, but seeing yourself as somebody who works on, let's say, higher good, not absolute good, but some version of future. I think the main tool religions have in connection with coping with modern societies is actually the flexibility of some religions. Some are more and some are less flexible. The flexibility basically in questioning the current status of society, of what is going on here. So what makes religion, any religion in fact, flexible is the ability to ask questions, to reflect. And this is more or less embedded almost in every religion. So churches and the members of churches, I believe, could cope with modern times in using the strategy, actually the methodology, asking questions that were asked at the beginning when this religion, let's say, came to life. Regarding Christianity, let's say, these are the questions: who is privileged in the society? Is the life of those who are privileged? Are the lives of those who are privileged more valuable? How to strengthen? How to give voice to those who are underprivileged? How to put them together? What makes difference? What is important? And so on. During my preparation for this discussion, what came to my mind is the book, or was the book, that is perhaps 15 years old. It's the book edited by legal philosophers, and it was the book that actually contained the papers or articles from newspapers about the current state of law and morality, the way morality and law are connected, in which way the morality challenges law and the other way around. And one famous Czech, actually he was a Slovak legal theorist who used to be a judge of Czech Constitutional Court, Professor Hollander, he claimed that even modern state cannot exist without the idea of transcendence that came from religion and religions and religious values. Current Czech Constitutional Court judge Jiří Příbaň, in his essay, he claimed that it's quite the contrary, that morality or religion, when it was let's say totalitarian, when it was abused, it played really bad law in society, because absolute goodness somehow pushed against the freedom in the end. So he said that to differentiate between kinds of discourses is important, and we should be careful how to use arguments of morality and arguments of transcendence. This book, then these essays in the book were followed by papers by other judges of Constitutional Court and other legal scholars. When thinking about these questions, I thought about the importance of the book and the lack of Slovak discussion of these issues. So you cannot find any discussion in Slovakia, let's say even in last 30 years, at that level of discussion about the relationship of religion and state, churches and the state and law and morality, even Christian morality.